These long dog days of summer, I mean, we just made it through a heat wave. Mama was parched through this heat wave. I was hitting up Dunkin' every single day, and I will continue to probably for the rest of my days, but especially this summer. Dunkin' is helping everyone stay cool this summer with its lineup of refreshers. These drinks are packed with bold, fruity flavors and served ice cold. It's amazing. Dunkin' refreshers are the perfect afternoon pick-me-up. I like to start my morning with them personally, and then sometimes I go back for a second one because I'm just feeling crazy. They come in a variety of delicious flavors, including fan favorites mango pineapple and strawberry dragon fruit. And then for a limited time, there's black cherry and there's pink pineapple. I'm going to tell you something right now, and it's a bold claim, let me tell you, but I stand behind it. Pink pineapple will change your life. It is so good. It has me feeling like I'm sitting in a pool, resort side, just living, honey. It's so yummy. Try your favorite flavor with green tea, sparkling water, lemonade, or Dunkin's all-new limeade. I haven't tried the limeade yet, but I'm going to. Usually I get my drinks made with green tea and occasionally lemonade, but I do really like the green tea. Or if you don't want to build your own, try one of Dunkin's curated refreshers like the Cherry Lime Ricky or the Ultimate Pink Daydream. The Cherry Lime Ricky, scrumptious. I could drink like 3 of these a day. They're so freaking yummy. Head to Dunkin' today and find your favorite refresher. Dunkin' refreshers contain less than 1% fruit juice. Limited time offer.
There's a pill version of Ozempic.
Hello, I'm Ozempic.
And I'm other GLP-1s kind of like him. Hey, did I hear there's a pill version of Ozempic?
Yep, you sure did. Ask your doctor about which FDA-approved uses of the Ozempic pen or pill may be right for you. Call 1-833-OZEMPIC or visit Ozempic.com to view the medication guide and learn more about Ozempic semaglutide tablets 9 milligrams and Ozempic semaglutide injection 2 milligrams.
There's a pill version of Ozempic.
All of us strands are in real danger, and whatever it is, it's closing in. It started with just a few lost hairs here and there, but now more and more of us are disappearing every day. But listen, we think we have a plan. A way to stop the shedding. Pantene Abundant and Strong. Go now. It's not too late.
Pantene Abundant and Strong. It's a 3-step system that reduces hair loss by 85%. Only the strongest will survive the shedding.
Hey weirdos, I'm Ash.
And I'm Alaina.
And this is Morbid.
Guys, the West Memphis 3 case is still, like, awful. It's wild.
It's always been mind-boggling, but somehow, like, and you would never think that it could somehow get more mind-boggling.
Yeah.
But with every passing step, it just blows my fucking mind with what Arkansas is doing to these people.
It's wild. So Damian Eccles tweeted yesterday, the prosecutor in our case, Keith Crestman, has now filed a motion asking the judge to refuse our request to test evidence in order to reveal the actual murderer. And he wrote, Arkansas continues to follow the path of corruption they set out on the very beginning of this case. They don't want to test evidence to find the actual murderer of 3 8-year-old boys.
And it makes no sense because, like, in the Alford plea, like, Damien, Jesse, and,
Jason,
sorry, I just totally lost my train of thought.
Wait.
They can't sue Arkansas, like, because of the Alford plea. So Arkansas really has nothing to lose.
You know what they have to lose? All the egos of the fucking assholes who worked this case and that judge was such a dick on the original case. This is egos, and this is covering something up. I don't know. Something is so stinky here, and we all know it, and we're all seeing it happening, but no one can stop it, and it's infuriating to me. That's why I was like, yesterday, I was like, what can we do? Like, honestly.
Well, that's the thing. Like, we were just sitting here saying, like, like Alaina was like, I want to do something. Like, can we do something?
Yeah,
and I was like, I
truly
would
want
love
to.
to. But what do we do?
I don't know what we can do because it's for Jason, it's for Damien, it's for Jesse, but it's also for Michael, Christopher,
Absolutely.
and Stevie. It's
Absolutely.
like, guys, there needs to be like, we know they didn't do it.
Right.
It's very clear. Arkansas would not have allowed these 3 men to walk out the door
If they were child
If
murderers.
1, they knew they were child murderers, and 2, they had the evidence to keep them.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, come on.
No, it's
and the fact
ridiculous.
that they are not willing to test this, if they thought that these men did it, then they would test the fuck out of this evidence to further prove that they were right. That's what they would do. They would confirm, look,
So it
we
could
were
be
right.
another fucking, like, level up on
Exactly,
their egos.
but they know that this is going to point to someone else. They know that this is, if there is DNA on those ligatures, which they have the fucking technology, it's like a vacuum kind of like thing that takes more DNA out of it. And that's what they want to use. Like, that's
Right.
what Damien is proposing they use. They won't do it. And it's like, if they know that once they vacuum out that fucking DNA, that it's going to point to someone. I'm not going to say any names, but I think we all
We're
know.
all thinking the same thing.
We're
We're all
all
reading the
thinking.
same book.
We're all reading Calvin and Hobbes, you know? So like we all know what we're talking about here.
It's also just like, why would Damien be fighting so hard for this evidence to be
If
tested?
he was going to
had-
get proven guilty.
Right, like it's
that's
it makes no
all
sense.
of them are. Like Jason is
Yeah.
like they're all, why would they all be trying to prove their own guilt? That doesn't make sense.
No.
They would
And
not
it just
fight
goes,
this hard.
It just goes to show that this is Arkansas being like, nope, sorry.
This is
not even sorry. Just like,
outrageous.
nope, go fuck yourself.
It's outrageous, and this is egos. This is that Gary Getchell wanted to get this case closed the second that he was on it. And for a second, I was like, okay, I understand you want to get like child murderers off the streets
For
and you want to
sure.
make everybody safe again. And like, that's
But
a
you
big
did it.
deal.
That's clearly
but
not
you
what you
did it
wanted.
at the expense of 3 innocent people's lives.
Right.
And at the expense of these 3 8-year-olds who were brutally murdered and their entire families.
because he wanted it to look that way. It was
And-
all a
yeah.
facade. It was not actually serving justice.
Yeah, it just... Oh, I can't. This case, I
So
can't
it's
get over it.
beyond
I can't let this
frustrating.
go. Like, I'm officially at the point where I'm like, all right, I'm contacting people. I'm gonna figure out how we can get involved in this
Like,
because
are we gonna fly to Arkansas?
I'll
and just,
do
like,
what I have to do here because
Honestly.
I can't just watch this anymore and like just talk about it on the podcast. I'm like, what? I gotta do something. Like, give me gloves, let me do something. I don't know. Like I feel so helpless in this, and this case means like a lot in my brain, and I just need. So I'm gonna figure out what we can do.
because at the center
and
of
we'll
it,
let
like,
you guys know if you can do anything too, if you feel like you want to.
yeah, and it's like, again, at the center of this case are 3 little boys, 8-year-old boys, and like
Who were brutally murdered.
they've been served no justice.
none, and their families have been. I mean, it's just, it's
And presumably whoever did this is just fucking walking around,
yeah. They could still be alive and
hurting other
well,
people, hurting
and
other kids
just-
potentially. You don't we don't know.
able to exist in life. These boys didn't even get to. I mean, Jesus, they were 8.
There's so many things they didn't get to do.
Babies.
Like they just
Literal babies.
became frozen in time.
Yeah,
But
they're
this
8-year-olds.
person gets to
8-year-olds
live their
forever.
life.
And this person is just going to keep walking around free. And these 3 men are going to keep having this stigma of people being like, well, you're still guilty on them. And
Yeah.
and they're trying so hard to prove that they're not. And no one's allowing them the chance. And it's because Arkansas doesn't want to have fucking egg on its face. Well, guess what? You have fucking an entire omelet on your fucking faces.
Truly.
And everyone can see it. We all know it's true. And you're proving again and again that you are fucking covering something up. Mm-hmm. Oh,
It's that frustrating isn't even the word for it. There needs to be a new word for
yeah,
it.
it truly does.
Because it goes so far beyond frustration.
I gotta like contact some people so I can like get my hands dirty in this because I feel very helpless and I feel like I'm not doing enough. I'm gonna contact like Bob Ruff. I want to
Like to be called the Supreme Court.
talk to
Question
Maggie
mark?
Freeling again. Like we gotta figure something out here.
Yeah.
We gotta make it happen. We'll try.
Honestly.
We'll surely try. But that's my frustration station rant for today.
That's a good one.
And hopefully we'll have some better updates for you and maybe we can make something happen.
Something's
here.
gotta give. Like I
Something's
know
gotta
it's
give.
like taking a lot of push, but I think eventually like the truth comes out.
Yeah.
And justice hopefully prevails.
Oh God, you hope.
Like you just have to hope.
So
'Cause
far,
if you don't hope,
so far you
then-
got nothing. But I think justice doesn't always prevail just by itself. It needs to be aggressively pushed forward for sure. And I think we need to do that.
We need the combination.
The combination.
All right. Well, with that being said, obviously that was like very important to get out there.
With that being screamed.
With that being yelled into your ear meat. Now, I actually have a pretty long case for us today.
I'm ready.
And we are going to be talking about the murder of Abraham Shakespeare.
I have heard of this one.
I think if you're like a super true crime head, you've definitely heard of this one. I hope I can bring you something new, though.
Shed new light.
I found a lot of court documents.
Ooh.
I found like the search warrants. I found like a bunch of stuff. So I was like in this fucking case for
because
like,
I know
weeks.
this one, like generally, I don't know a lot of details or anything. So this will be a new experience for me.
Well, I'm excited to give you that experience. So this week we are going down to Florida. Florida. And you've probably heard us cover like the fun, somewhat lighthearted Florida man stories on Crime Countdown. But this case is like a far cry from any fun, lighthearted Florida man. And instead, we're going to hear about this sick, twisted, manipulative, cold-blooded Florida woman.
Cool.
Her name is Doris Donegan Moore. But over the years, people simply came to know her as Dee Dee.
Dee Dee.
So she is Dee Dee Moore. And strangely enough, in her younger years, Dee Dee had dreams of like helping people, which when we learn a lot more about her life, you're like, you wanted to help people at one point in time?
Like, yeah?
Question mark?
You sure?
When she was little, she was in the Brownies. She did Girl Scouts. She even went to like different Bible studies with this group of younger girls that called themselves the Missionettes.
Oh,
I was like, that's fucking
cute.
adorable. And growing up, Dee Dee knew that she always wanted to become a nurse. And when the time came to go to school for that, she excelled in her classes and she got her license to practice as a CNA, just like her mom, Linda.
Nice.
And Dee Dee said that she wanted to do a job where she could help people, but also make a good living. Because throughout her childhood, especially I think when she hit like middle school and high school, she became very hyper aware of the fact that her family wasn't necessarily as well off as some of her friends' families. And it was like a very big source of contention in her life.
Okay.
Because she hated the idea of people thinking that she was poor. She would make her parents drop her off like a block away from whatever she was going to, whether it was like school or a slumber party.
Oh, that's really sad.
Yeah. And that just like sucks for your parents. It's
Well,
kind of a
that's,
dick move.
yeah, that's really like, you would feel so embarrassed by that.
Yeah, like I grew up pretty poor and like my mom's cars were always really embarrassing, but I was like, check out that ugly car.
Like it's a car.
My mom has
we
it,
got here.
you know? But unfortunately for Dee Dee, it was going to take some time to work her way up to getting the salary that she felt was good enough. And for a while, her and her husband James struggled to make ends meet. Dee Dee, though, she was a crafty lady who came up with some very alarming schemes to make the family the money that she was so desperate for.
A scheme is never good.
No, don't be scheming.
Don't be calling things a scheme.
And she wasn't, but she was scheming on the low.
Yeah.
On the high, really.
On the high, really.
So
in the clouds, essentially.
She was scheming on cloud nine.
Yeah.
Now, in the early 90s, she went to work for a medical staffing company. And the people who ran the company were like, wow, she's a natural at this. Like, she's actually very business savvy. She's got a good head on her shoulders. And at this point, she's in her early 20s. So they were pretty impressed with her and her business skills. And one of her fellow employees was a woman named Karen DeSalvo. And she knew that Dee Dee had a side hustle. Dee Dee was working for Nextel, like way back when.
Nextel. Do you remember the little beep beep? And you could, yeah, like the walkie-talkie thing?
Yeah, I do. I also remember, like, not the same thing, but Motorola's. And it was like, hello, Moto. Like, a triggering sound.
A triggering sound.
But so and this was like probably right around when like cell phones were really becoming a big thing. So her side hustle, she was selling these Nextel phones and like different phone plans that went along with them.
Okay.
So over the years of working together, Karen and Dee Dee became closer, and Karen realized that Dee Dee like wasn't really doing so bad with this cell phone hustle. She was bringing in a good amount of extra dough. And in 2004, the two of them actually came.
This episode is brought to you by SoFi, the all-in-one finance app where you can bank, borrow, and invest all in one place. Let's talk about bank accounts for a second. The average bank savings rate is 0.39% in interest. You're earning pennies on your savings, and it doesn't have to be that way. But with SoFi's high-yield checkings and savings, the money barely making moves sitting in your savings account can earn over 8 times the national average savings rate with eligible direct deposit. No account or overdraft fees. We love transparency. You can get your paycheck up to 2 days early, plus get up to a $300 welcome bonus when you sign up with eligible direct deposit. Sign up for SoFi Checking and Savings at SoFi.com/morbid. SoFi Checking and Savings is offered through SoFi Bank, N.A., member FDIC. Terms apply. Chilling crime cases are mysterious, but finding coverage shouldn't be. With the State Farm Personal Price Plan, you have options and can personalize your plan to help create an affordable price so you can get back to cracking all of life's bigger cases. Talk to a State Farm agent today to learn how you can choose to bundle and save with the Personal Price Plan. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Head to statefarm.com to get a quote. Prices are based on rating plans that vary by state. Coverage options are selected by the customer. Availability, amount of discounts and savings, and eligibility vary by state.
Up with the idea to start their own business, kind of doing something similar, selling phones and plans, but they did it under a company called All About Cellular. So
Okay.
just, I don't really understand how that works.
Doesn't have as good a ring to it.
It definitely
doesn't. Yeah.
And I don't really know how it worked because obviously it was in like the early 90s. And
Yeah.
now if you want a new phone, like you call Verizon or AT&T. But I think that was like before all of these, like Verizon and AT&T and Sprint were really established.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So I think you could kind of have like a small business doing this.
All right, I see.
And they were doing like pretty well together. Karen was listed as the president of the company and Dee Dee was the vice president. And I think Karen's husband was kind of working for the business too.
It's a family affair.
It was. But things took a turn for the worst when Dee Dee got tasked with opening a new branch for the med staffing company. Now, this new branch was actually her idea, and she brought it to like the higher ups in the company and said, you know, I think opening a location in Plant City, Florida would be really genius. And she was like, it's in quote unquote untapped area. And she was like, I think you would really reap financial benefits if you would just consider letting me do this and helping out with this.
Okay.
So they were like, oh, wow, look at her. Such a business savvy woman.
Taking initiative.
I know, like, wow, Dee Dee. So obviously she was given the clear to start the project. And just like most of Dee Dee's projects, all was well and fine for a short while. But then things started to take a turn and head downhill.
Eek.
So the company started noticing that there was a lot of money going out of this branch and not a lot coming in. And so they launched an internal investigation. Because they were like, this isn't adding up.
They were like, that's not how business is supposed to work.
No. And they realized that Dee Dee had taken about $62,000 in an elaborate payroll scheme. Damn. So she was like putting extra money in people's checks, but then like taking the difference. It was like very intense.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. But by the time, like right around the time they were getting ready to take things to court, the branch had a mysterious fire. And all of the files burned that like would have proved everything. But strangely enough, just a couple of days before this fire, a lot of expensive equipment and things that were important to Dee Dee moved. But all the files that were really important in this investigation mysteriously burned.
Seems legit.
Yeah, you know, definitely.
I'm not worried about it.
No, I think, you know, just like sporadic combustion,
that
obviously.
Just like that's just what happens.
Yeah. So Dee Dee was fired.
Oh, really?
Very quickly.
Wow.
And basically she was supposed to pay the company back about $25,000, but it's unclear if she ever paid that money or not.
All right.
Yeah. And
Unclear.
And I don't think they were ever able to prove that she started the fire, but everybody was like, yeah.
Dee Dee started the fire.
Yeah, exactly. So the time between 1999 and 2001 was really rough for Dee Dee and her family because not only had she been fired from the med staffing company, but she had basically been fired from Nextel and banned from selling any phones or plans that had anything to do with their company because she was being investigated for another fraud scheme there.
All right, sometimes you just gotta like cut your losses here.
Yeah, like
and stop being fraudulent.
Just no frauds.
Yeah, like fraud is not a good thing to begin with, and especially when you're getting caught over and over again.
It's clearly not working out for you.
This isn't your path in life. Like you're not good at fraud, and that's something that's actually a feather in your cap. You can say that I'm not good at being fraudulent.
I don't enjoy being fraudulent.
Don't keep trucking. With it.
Just get a regular, like you're a CNA, like
get on the straight and narrow.
You don't get like a ton of money. money doing that, but you can work your way up.
Yeah,
and
and it's hard work.
yeah, and usually most things in life you have to work your way to the top. But
Truth.
a lot of people don't want to do that.
Dee Dee.
Dee Dee did not want to do that. So she can't sell these Nextel phones anymore. The business with Karen is gone because Karen's like, I don't trust you anymore.
Karen's like, no, thank you.
She can't sell the phones. So real bad. And then she was also arrested multiple times. One time she was arrested for shoplifting, and then the next time she was arrested for writing a bad check to the county tax collector, which just like write this down. You don't want to do that.
Again, that's when you're really bad at being fraudulent.
Like
when you do shit like that,
will always like find the money.
I mean, it's that whole thing that like only certain things are very certain in life, and taxes is one of them. Like,
yeah.
So don't fuck with it.
It always rings
It's
true.
gonna come back at you. It always is.
Yeah, so she got arrested for that.
Yeah,
and
she sure did.
Both of those arrests actually only led to probation time, but the bad times just kept rolling in. Because in 2001, this is sad, Dee Dee and her husband, and by this point they had a young son together, they were all evicted from the house that they were leasing because they had fallen too far behind on the payments.
Oh.
And Dee Dee, excuse me, I was about to say my own name, TT. Dee Dee tried to gain the landlord's sympathy by saying that there was someone after her family, and she dove into like this wild story about someone leaving her a warning sign on the front porch that they were going to get her. And like hoping that the landlord would be like, well, I can't kick you out now.
Do what you got to do to stay in your house, I guess.
Exactly. But he was like, listen, I've heard plenty of your weird stories. I've heard all your weird excuses. Get out.
Like, I don't believe you.
Like, I do not believe you. He was not the only one that was tired of these excuses and stories, because Dee Dee had also bought a $50,000 Lincoln Navigator a while back, but she was getting very far behind on those payments as well. And finally, the loan officer was like, listen, we're repossessing your car. Like, you're way too far behind on these payments. And she basically told him, over my dead body, you're taking my car, and I will, quote unquote, do anything I have to keep that car.
Uh-oh.
And that was the truth.
When somebody says that, it never ends well.
I'll do anything I have to.
When it's for something like material,
Right.
You're like, ooh, nope, that's not a good sign.
Like, I'll do anything for love. But even some people won't do that.
Meatloaf.
Right.
He said he wouldn't.
He had limits.
So he would do
Everybody
anything, but he wasn't going to do that.
should have
So,
limits. You should.
Have limits like Meatloaf.
Yeah, Dee Dee didn't get that note. Because a few days after that phone call, Dee Dee Moore was found in a ditch alongside a road in Wamama, Florida. I hope I said that right. I did look it up, and it said Wamama.
Wamama.
Now, a man had been driving by when he spotted her, and she looked like she had been through the ringer. Her wrists were tied together, her clothes were super dirty, and she was like in hysterics.
Damn.
She told the man, trigger warning, that she had been carjacked and also raped.
Oh.
So he immediately drove her to the hospital. They processed a rape kit, and the police quickly came to the hospital to like get her story and everything.
Jeez.
So she told them that she'd been driving her Lincoln Navigator when all of a sudden, quote unquote, 3 tattooed Hispanic men held her at gunpoint and told her that they were going to take her car and kill her. She said they raped her and they said they were going to kill her, but then whoever was sitting in the back seat with her decided not to kill her. He was like, let's not kill her. He told her she needed to dye her hair blonde and that he better never see her again if they let her go. And then they tossed her out of the car.
This is like reminiscent of that Sherry Papini
Oh,
case.
I don't know that case.
Do you remember? You probably would know it
If I heard
if
more
you
detail.
heard more. She's like it was a recent one.
Oh, okay.
And it was the mom, the young blonde mom who was kidnapped and then returned and said it was 2 Hispanic women. This is just like very similar, like,
yeah.
and they still don't really know what happened there, and like
Just a weird.
same kind of vibes of like what is going on.
So they were like, okay, like we're going to take down this information. She described the 3 men. So they got the description of them and they kind of start trying to investigate the case. But something about the story just isn't adding up. And then they start looking into Dee Dee's background and they see that there's a lot more to this woman than meets the eye. Because she obviously by this point had been involved in multiple fraud schemes. And they had to wonder, was this another scheme because she was about to lose this car?
Yep.
So they got their answer days later when a very confused man called into the police station. And he said, that Navigator is parked in my garage. and an acquaintance of mine brought it by just days earlier.
What?
So this man who called, his name's Michael Anthony Davis, and he was told that he would get $500 simply to just have this car in his garage. And he was like, you have to go talk to Steve Rodella. So the police tracked down this second man who drove the car there. He said he drove the car there for Dee Dee because she told him she was going to frame one of her previous employees that worked for her Nextel business, because Dee Dee said, I had to fire her because she was like doing something messed up, and now I need to like pin something on her because she's threatened to kill me. So she was like, I need her to like go to prison so that she doesn't kill me. So this guy thinks he's being a hero.
Oh my God.
So we have the Lincoln Navigator parked in Michael Anthony Davis's garage. And then we have Steve Rodella, who drove it there thinking that he's helping Dee Dee because this woman has threatened to kill her, that she had to like fire from her Nextel business, which she doesn't have anymore.
My goodness.
Now there's another man, because these two men are not the only people who go forward to the police telling the story. Multiple other people had been told a similar tale. So finally they tracked down another man who was the one to drive Dee Dee out to Wamama. His name was Clemente Bonilla. He drove along this country road as she tied her own wrists together, gagged herself, and then she told him to slow down so she could throw herself from his Chevy Blazer and into a ditch that she had spotted along the way.
How?
So all of these men come forward like with little tiny puzzle pieces of this, and then finally Clemente is like, oh yeah, like I drove her. Like I didn't, I was just driving.
I was driving.
I was just there to drive. And
I was just driving.
I think they all got paid a little bit of money.
Of course. Which is like, you need money. So you're paying all these people to do this elaborate thing that takes tons of hard work and planning and commitment. But you won't just like, I don't know. You have a CNA. Doesn't she have her CNA license?
Yes.
Like, work.
Correct.
Like, what are you doing?
That's the thing. So ultimately she's charged with insurance fraud, like again.
Yeah.
And this time falsely reporting a crime. I also just need to know how this woman had the charm to convince 3 men to help her carry out this elaborate scheme. But like, obviously, like I wish that she would just work. But like, also you didn't have the charm to just ask them if you could borrow some money from each of them just to make the payment on your fucking car and then you wouldn't lose it.
If they were willing to literally commit fraud.
Thank you.
And like false police reporting
They'd
with
probably
you,
give you $100.
I'm sure.
And
that
also, like, maybe don't buy a $50,000 car when like you're in the middle of like multiple fraud schemes and you're probably going to get caught and lose your job.
And you're paying these guys to do this for you instead of just paying your car.
Right. Like just
use that money towards your car payment.
So confusing.
Instead of to these random guys to throw you out of a car.
Correct.
This is wild.
Wild already.
I don't even know what to say.
Only like the beginning of Dee Dee's life.
Wow, Dee Dee.
She also only got 1 year of probation for this.
Okay.
Like 45 elaborate schemes later, and this lady is still just getting slapped on the wrist.
Look at the perfect examples in this episode of the justice system at work.
Oh,
we have the beginning where it's just completely shitting the bed in Arkansas.
Yep.
And then we have this woman who's just committing fraud left and right and just getting nothing.
Wilding on the fraud schemes.
We've seen that tale. It's a tale as old as time.
Yep.
You could write a Beauty and the Beast song about it.
You certainly could.
Because every episode we're always like, yeah, and then they slip through the cracks 15,000 times.
Crazy.
Until they murdered 100 people, and then all of a sudden they were like, oh man, we should have picked them up before,
Should have looked back
Probably
on
should have looked at that. Probably shouldn't have lost that paperwork.
I was just going to say,
it's
maybe
always
I
lost paperwork.
Made that clerical error.
Yeah, always an admin error.
Yeah. So then we're going to go to 2002. So that's all between like the late 90s to the early 2000s. Now we're 2002, still around the earlies. And Dee Dee and her husband filed for bankruptcy, which helped her get out of multiple other civil suits that had been brought against her. She owed $3,600 in back rent to a landlord, $21,000 to a radio station for advertising.
Oh my God.
And she had stolen like other money from various people claiming she was going to put it into like startup businesses for them. At one point she a couple had given her like $600,000 and she just like never gave it back to them. They never like got a return on their investment.
Oh my God.
So flash forward to 2004. Dee Dee seems to have some of her shit together. Not really, but she's able to open an LLC for a company called American Medical Professionals on her own. Now, this company was similar to the one that she had worked at previously. It's a med staffing company. Like, similar to the one that may have low-key burned down.
Yeah, that one.
So basically, any of the hospitals in the area that were in need of nurses or other medical professionals, they would call this company that Dee Dee, now it was her company. So she would find somebody available for the job and send them out there.
Okay.
Now, the company was doing really well, and Dee Dee was making some serious coin doing this.
And it seems like a legit business. Like,
it does.
You could run that legitimately.
Yeah.
Like, that is a need. That is a need that you can fill.
Yeah.
Legitimately.
The one that she was working at before was like a very actual reputable company.
Medical staffing companies are a real thing.
Before she started basically taking all their money.
Why?
So she's making some serious coin, probably not legally at all, but we've realized that by now. But she's taking in about $200,000 a year.
Damn.
Like, that's a great salary, and especially in the early 2000s.
Yeah.
Like, $200,000 is a bomb salary now.
Yeah.
Whoa. So she and her family move into this beautiful home, but before long, she and her husband James decided to separate, and eventually they got divorced. He was probably tired of all the fraud, perhaps.
Not into the fraud.
Just a guess I had. Now, in 2006, Dee Dee meets her new boyfriend. His name is Shar Krasnicki, and he is 11 years younger than her and the son of one of her employees.
Okay.
So Shar moves into her house about a year into their relationship, and this guy just pretty much lived the life of Riley, especially after Dee Dee met and became close to a man named Abraham Shakespeare. So Abraham Shakespeare, let's get a little into who he is. He was born on April 23rd, 1966 in Sebring, Florida. Just like Dee Dee Moore, he would spend his whole entire life in Florida. His mother, Elizabeth Walker, was a single mom just trying to make ends meet and raise, I think she had 3 children. And if Dee Dee thought that she had grown up poor, she should have walked a mile in Abraham's shoes, because he dropped out of school right around 7th grade, feeling like it was more important to help his family make ends meet than to finish school.
Oh, that hurts my heart.
Because they were really struggling so much that he was I think he was kind of the man of the house, and felt like he
felt like a duty at that young age.
Needed to contribute. I mean, what are you, 12 or 13 in 7th grade? Come on.
That hurts my heart.
So because he dropped out at such a young age, he barely knew how to read or write, and he would have trouble getting a good, quote-unquote, good job later on in life because of that.
Yeah, of course.
Those are some skills that you really need for a lot of jobs.
Mm-hmm.
So for the time being, though, he went to work in the orange groves with his dad, James, to earn some extra cash, and he would take whatever money he made back to his mom to help support the family.
Oh.
But unfortunately, the extra help did not last long, because when Abraham was 13 years old, he actually ended up getting sent to juvie because he was convicted of theft.
Okay.
I couldn't find a ton of information on that. In some sources, I saw that he was involved in a ring or a string of burglaries.
Okay.
But overall, just convicted of theft.
Yeah.
So he got sentenced to 5 years, and he didn't get out of prison until he was 18 years old.
Wow.
So that's your whole teenagehood just gone right there.
Big developmental stage gone.
And that's a really hefty sentence to give a 13-year-old.
I know, it's those things are always so hard to determine what's right and what's wrong there.
Yeah, I would have to know more about the case to really have a full-fledged opinion, but it definitely
But
sucks.
it's so young.
Yeah.
13 is young.
It's very young. So once he was out of juvie, Abraham needed to get some kind of job to make ends meet. But like I said earlier, that was going to prove to be difficult for him because he dropped out at such a young age, and he had spent pretty much all of his teenage years behind bars instead of being able to learn a trade or skill or something.
Yeah.
So he did odd jobs to make ends meet. He would literally just walk around town and stop into the different shops and ask these owners if they needed help with anything, could he do anything for them? And a couple of the business owners did need help. The owner of Superway Foods in Lakeland, Florida, was one of these guys. His name was Jimard Youssef Zaid, but to Abraham and the local guys around town, he was simply Poppy.
But I love that.
I love it so much. So Poppy had Abraham run different errands for him. He had Abraham do deliveries of groceries to people, and he gave Abraham a cell phone so that he could get a hold of him if need be.
And look at this. This is Abraham is hustling.
Thank you.
He's I can't read or write because I had to stop school early to help
Right.
my family. I made a mistake. I did time for it. I'm now out. I'm behind on all this and it's keeping me back.
Yep.
But I'm going to walk around and I'm going to try to legitimately earn some money.
Some honest
by
money.
trying to help, businesses and see if I can get somewhere.
Exactly. And Poppy wasn't the only business owner that he was helping. Like, he was hustling.
Yeah.
Because another business owner who needed some help around his shop was Gregory Smith. He was like the local barber in the town. And Abraham worked there a few days a week just sweeping up hair and like doing other little odd jobs.
Yeah.
And Abraham was like a really likable guy. Everybody who was friends with him was like, he was just a kind person.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably part of what made these business owners like take to him and want to help him like that.
So over time,
that's cool that they did that.
It is really cool. And it's just like such a sense of community.
Yeah, it really is.
So over time, he grew really close with both of these guys, and their friendships even lasted when Abraham moved on to other jobs or when he had to spend another stint behind bars because he wasn't able to make child support payments.
Eek.
Because he had a son named Moses in 1998 with his girlfriend Antoinette Andrews. The two of them had like a really on-again, off-again relationship, but I guess by all accounts, Abraham was like a really, really good dad. Even if him and Antoinette were not together at the time, he spent a ton of time with his son. He always wanted to make sure that he could offer Antoinette what he had, but he didn't have a lot because it was really hard to get a job. So there were times when he did fall behind on child support and ended up in jail.
And it sounds like it's not one of those cases where he just doesn't pay it.
It's
like,
just he
to
literally doesn't have the money.
And like be an asshole.
You know that feeling when you come home late from work and those puppy dog eyes just pierce right through your soul? Or when you're packing for a trip and your cat refuses to leave your suitcase? Yeah, we've all been there. Pet parent guilt is real. And you know what? It's completely normal. That's exactly why Hill's Pet Nutrition exists. They understand that being a pet parent means being human, with all of our imperfections and daily juggling acts. Hill's science-led nutrition helps you give more love than humanly possible. Whether it's those long work days or trying to balance attention between multiple pets, Hill's Pet Nutrition gets it. They've created science-based nutrition that supports your pet's lifelong health so you can feel confident even when life gets hectic. Because you're only human, there's Hill's. Science does more. Ready to let go of the guilt? Find the right food at hillspet.com/podcast. That's hillspet.com/podcast. This is a paid ad by BetterHelp. I happen to be somebody that struggles with people pleasing. So a lot of times I will build things up and up and up and up and up and then kind of get to the point where I'm like, I need to let this out to this person. Even in 2026, that stigma and just stigma in general can get in the way of a lot of things, like getting support for your mental health. Maybe you've encouraged friends to consider therapy while avoiding taking that first step yourself because you're busy. You're worried about what other people might think, or telling yourself that you should handle this all alone. But therapy with BetterHelp, the world's largest online therapy platform, can be a space to slow down and talk through what's been building before it feels unmanageable. Just take a short questionnaire to identify your needs and preferences, and BetterHelp will handle the initial therapist matching work for you. Their industry-leading match rate means BetterHelp typically gets it right the first time. Feel confident knowing BetterHelp therapists work according to a strict code of conduct and are fully qualified. Don't let hesitation hold you back. Find support with BetterHelp. Sign up and get 10% off at betterhelp.com/morbid. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/morbid.
It's like he literally just didn't have it.
Right. So he ended up spending a little bit of time in prison for that. And when he gets out, he's like, I have to get a better job. Like, I need a steady income because I want to be able to support Moses. Like, I love my son. So that's when he started working for a food delivery company called MBM. Now, Abraham didn't have a driver's license, so he would be the passenger while his partner, Michael Ford, drove the truck to various delivery locations. And then the two of them would like unload the deliveries together. So they were getting ready to make their day of deliveries on the morning of November 15th, 2006. But they decided to just make a quick stop at a convenience store because Michael just wanted to grab a couple of drinks and probably a snack or something for the road.
Yeah.
So they park. He's like, hey, Abraham, do you want anything? And Abraham was like, oh, yeah, like grab me 2 lottery tickets. And he handed him a few bucks from his wallet. So Mike came back out to the truck, gave Abraham the tickets, and the two of them just headed out for another mundane day of the deliveries.
Yeah.
Now, Abraham didn't know it yet, but obviously we all know. Later that night, he would learn that he had one of the winning tickets to a lottery jackpot valued at $31 million.
Holy shit.
Like, imagine getting home from a regular old day, turning the TV on, and just like, you know how like people play the lottery all the time and you just watch the numbers like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
And then you're like,
wait.
oh shit.
Yep.
Yep. Okay.
Yep.
And back then it's like you couldn't even rewind the TV to make sure you had heard it right. You're just like, what the fuck? And like, especially for Abraham, after all those years of trying to get a steady income, he must have felt like he was like the king of the world.
Oh my God.
I can't even imagine.
I can't, yeah. That's, and coming from where he came from to that is out. I mean, that's like a fairy tale.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But it's a fairy tale for sure. But if you've ever heard about the curse of the lottery, you will not be surprised to find out that these hits started coming, and they started coming quickly. So when you win the lottery, you got two options. Obviously, you know this, but for those who don't, you can do one lump sum payment where all the taxes get taken out, and you end up with a smaller amount. Still like a crazy number, but definitely significantly less than what you won.
Of course.
Or you can do an annuity payment where you get smaller payouts over time. So for example, if you win the Powerball or like Mega Millions, you can choose to get that lump sum with the taxes taken out, or you can go with the annuity payment. And I think how it works is they pay you 30 annuity payments over a period of 29 years.
Okay.
And I think you end up getting more if you do like the lump sum, but it's like, it's very confusing how it works.
Yeah, I have no idea how any of it works.
So, and it's like, honestly, I think it depends like when you hit the lottery, because there's different tax rates and stuff like that. And it's where you hit it because there's different rules associated. Of course. But Abraham decided he was going to go with the one lump sum option.
Okay.
So after taxes were taken out, and also they had to take out some back child support payments.
Makes sense.
He ended up with $12.7 million.
Damn,
And
the amount of money they take in taxes, man.
it's crazy.
It's wild.
But wouldn't you know it, Michael Ford wanted some of that money because he technically was the one who bought the tickets. But Abraham gave him the money.
It always happens.
I used to
never
work,
have someone buy you a lottery ticket.
Nope. I used to work at a restaurant, and we would buy lottery tickets together all the time. And we would always, like, beforehand, we would, like, write something down and we'd all sign it. Like, if we win, like, this. Like, it was like a contract.
You have to.
Yeah. So Michael Ford, asked Abraham for $1 million. And I guess Abraham didn't want to give it to him. So Michael Ford came out and was like, listen, those tickets were actually mine, and Abraham stole them out of my wallet while we were making these deliveries. So he ended up suing Abraham for the winnings in November of 2007, but Abraham was found not guilty and did not have to give him a dime.
Wow.
Can you just like what? That's such a shitty thing to just be like, actually, those are mine and he stole them.
And it's like, money makes people do crazy things, man.
It really does.
Like, because even just that, it's like, I don't know. It's just like going after that is just like such a pointless thing.
And it's
like,
just greed.
Yeah, that's what it is.
And it's so
like,
yucky.
What you get out of it is like money can't, like they say, money can't buy you happiness. It's not going to fix everything.
And like Countess
sure, it's
going
to fix some stuff. Money can't buy you class.
Thank you. Money can't buy
but
you class.
It's like when you come out of this whole thing and you're fighting your friend and like your it's like,
yeah, it's just
yeah,
shitty.
sure, you might have money at the end of it, but it's like,
was it worth it?
Don't you feel gross? Like, I don't know. It's just like some things. It's just yucky.
Yeah.
The lottery always makes me feel like, ugh.
Exactly. I agree with you.
Because it never turns out well.
No, it doesn't.
Never.
Not at all. So Abraham was very, very generous to his actual friends and his family. He loaned out money to pretty much all of his friends and most of his family whenever they asked for it. Poppy, the one who had given him a job, he took out $1 million loan with Abraham. Greg Smith from the barbershop borrowed money. Abraham's cousin Cedric borrowed money so that he could get a house and a car. And Abraham got to spending too, which, he has the right to.
For sure.
But it was a lot all at once.
But you want to get it under control quick.
And you definitely, I think, like, it would behoove you to get a financial advisor
when
you win that much money.
And at that point, you can afford one. So
exactly.
It's like, now you can afford one, so get somebody to, like, just help you out.
Right. But I also don't think he was necessarily, like, very educated when it came to finances.
I was just going to say, it's not like he's been taught this stuff.
He didn't have the opportunity to.
If you don't know, you don't know. And a lot of shady people are now going to come forward and try to tell you what to do with that money. And you might end up trusting the wrong person.
That's basically the moral of this entire story. So this is great. The first thing that he did actually was set up $1 million trust for his son Moses.
Oh, that's awesome.
Which I was like, you clearly love your
yeah, that's really cool.
I watched a couple of different shows and I read a bunch of different things about this, and the one main constant thing was like how much of a family man he was and how much he loved his kids.
Oh,
and it like broke my heart.
That breaks my heart.
So he sets up this fund for Moses. He buys a BMW, which like go off. He buys a house. He goes on cruises. He rents halls and has like parties with all of his friends. And he's handing out like $100 bills to people.
Oh my God, I love it.
He's feeling himself.
He's living for a minute.
He's geeking.
Yeah.
So he wanted to buy his mom a house too, or have her move in with the one that he ended up buying.
Oh.
She did not want any part of it. She did not like the new house that Abraham had bought. She was like, it's too big. I just don't like it. It's in a gated community. That is not what I'm used to. Like, she liked her space.
Yeah.
And she didn't need more. Mm-hmm. And she said, quote, I wouldn't have been able to pay for insurance for a house like that or taxes on a house like that.
Yeah, that's true.
It seemed like she was pretty financially, like she knew what she was doing.
Yeah, it's like when people win like brand new cars on like game shows and they can't pay for it.
Right,
and
exactly.
It's like, so it's not a gift.
You're winning an expense.
Exactly. You're winning a bill.
Right, exactly. So she had the right idea, Elizabeth, because slowly but surely, all of Abraham's money was being spent or loaned away. And by the time he made the acquaintance of Dee Dee Moore, he only had about $1.3 million left for cash.
Ooh.
He had assets that were around like 3 to 4 million, but only 1.3 in cash.
Just from that massive sum is like, oof.
Because that's the thing. I'm saying only, but like I'm saying only in comparison
to having about $12 million.
Right. About actually like 13, really.
Yeah.
So Dee Dee and Abraham were introduced by Abraham's real estate agent, Barbara Jackson. Now, Barbara was really inspired by Abraham's quote-unquote like rags to riches story.
Yeah.
And the fact that he was not only enjoying the good life, but he was making sure that all his friends and family were taken care of too. So she was talking to a group of people one day. I guess she was on this panel, and she was telling Abraham's story. And one of the people listening to that story was Dee Dee Moore. Dee Dee introduced herself to Barbara and then explained that she would love to meet this inspirational man because, you know, she too had come from nothing and she was such an honest woman who worked her way to the top. And actually, she had written a book about her story and she would love, 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 love to talk to Abraham and get a book written about his story. Okay. How wonderful would that be?
Okay.
Now, she said, is there any way you could connect the two of us? And Barbara said, of course, like what a great idea to have a book written about Abraham. He's this great guy. He deserves the recognition. Let's figure this out. So they make plans to reconnect and Abraham's going to be there. And it's about 2 weeks after this panel. So they decided to meet at a Red Lobster restaurant in Lakeland, which hell yeah, Red Lobster. So this was in October of 2008. Now the day that Barbara had spoken with this Dee Dee woman, she was in a wheelchair, Dee Dee. And said that she had been in a pretty bad car accident pretty recently, and she suffered various injuries.
You know, some people just have bad luck.
It's the worst luck.
The worst.
It was weird, though, because like 2 weeks later, when she rolled up to Red Lobster in like her nice shiny SUV, she hopped out of that car wearing a nice dress and super high heels, and she just strolled on over like she hadn't been wheelchair bound 3 minutes earlier.
Maybe, you know, maybe she knows Julieta from Encanto and she gave her an arepa and it healed her.
Maybe. Barbara asked her and she didn't say Julieta helped.
She did not, okay.
She did, however, say that she had been doing scuba therapy and it was just like speedy recovery.
Same.
Scuba therapy.
Same.
It couldn't explain how it worked at all, but was like scuba.
I don't need to know how it works.
Diving.
Yeah, I believe it checks out.
Aquamarine.
Yes.
I am a mermaid.
Yep. Like I fully believe
I'm
it.
cured.
Yes, you did scuba therapy. Okay.
Okay. All right. So Barbara felt like we did. I think she was like, I'm out of questions to ask.
What do I even ask?
That's the thing. Like, and I think Dee Dee knew that. I think in saying scuba therapy, what fucking question? How do you follow that up?
That's, you know, it's like there's a Gilmore Girls episode where they're trying to confuse Taylor in the middle of a town meeting. Yep. And Lorelai says, like baby diapers and dorsal fins, and he's like, what? And she's like, I just say words to confuse him, and then eventually he'll move on. That was Dee Dee's
She just said
way of living.
scuba therapy.
She just said baby diapers and dorsal fins.
She moved on. I mean, pretty
Scuba
much
therapy.
the same theme.
Yeah.
So Abraham and Dee Dee meet and they hit it off. It seems like a very unlikely pair to most of the people who knew Abraham.
To me as well.
But you know, they hit it off. It worked out. She asked him questions about how his life had changed since winning the lottery, and he explained that there was a lot of people who had borrowed money from him and not paid him back. And he said there was a lot of people that were just coming out of the woodwork now, wanting to like hang out with him, like, oh man, haven't talked to you in so long, like what's up? That just hadn't been around for years.
Of course.
He also mentioned, and I like hate this, he mentioned that he had to change his phone number like multiple times because his phone would just ring at all hours.
Aww.
Like people were constantly calling, pestering him for money.
Oh, that's terrible.
It's like,
Man,
go
why-
to work, shut up.
Why do we suck so much as a species?
As a humanity,
like, why do we
right?
really suck this much?
So Dee Dee is like, you know, playing like she's so concerned for Abraham, and she's like, oh my gosh, like, I'm so sorry that you're going through all this. You know, how much money have you lent out to people? And she was shocked that he had gone through nearly all of his money. Like I said earlier, in cash, only about 1.3 left. And in assets, Dee Dee realized that there was still about $3 to $4 million.
Yeah.
So she was like, all right, it's
I
not
can
all
work
gone.
with that.
The thing about Dee Dee was that she was very manipulative. And the way that she approached this situation in the beginning was like very careful. Like, I'm your friend and I'm here to help you.
Of course.
She was ready to play the long game if she needed to. But I think she also knew that it was not going to be that hard to trick Abraham because he didn't have a very vast knowledge when it came to finances. Again, he could only read and write up to a certain point, and she knew that. So I think she was preying upon his weaknesses.
Of course she was.
Excuse me, I know she was.
I was going to say.
Now, all of his friends said that when they would text him, that he would just call them back to talk about whatever they had texted him about. And his most recent girlfriend, Centauria Butler, said that she usually had to read text to him. So it was like, you know, he wasn't like gonna text people all the time. Like,
no, of course
clearly
not.
that was
it was hard.
It was a well-known thing. So Dee Dee got to work quickly, acting as a hero in Abraham's life. She told him that they were going to wait on the book for now, and then in the meantime, she was going to help him get back control of his finances. So the first thing was first. She was going to track down all the people who had borrowed money from him and start getting them on these payment plans so that Abraham could make his money back.
And right here, you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Of course. Like, I need
let's do
somebody to
that.
do that for me.
For sure.
So she totaled the amount that people owed him to be about $2 million.
Wow.
Which is bananas. Now, people started talking about the quote-unquote white lady coming around because they were, like, not used to Abraham being involved with, like, a white woman.
Yeah.
And it was kind of, like, a big, like, it was, like, that's strange. Like, he's usually not comfortable with that.
Yeah, and since this is out of the ordinary, they're like, what's happening here?
Exactly. It was just, it felt strange because people felt like not only was the situation strange, but that there was something off about this woman, and they couldn't put their finger on it. But a lot of people were urging Abraham to maybe think twice about letting this, brand new woman run his finances.
Yeah, somebody you don't know.
Right. But Abraham seemed to be at a breaking point with handling the finances. He didn't want
It's
to
gotta
deal
be
with
stressful.
it. Yeah, I mean,
That's
his
a lot to
phone
deal with.
is ringing at all hours of the night, and he's just fucking tired of it.
Yeah.
And I think he was just like, you know what? Dee Dee's helping me.
Help.
And
Yeah.
I believe it, and I don't want to hear anything about it.
Yeah.
He actually even had a couple of falling outs with friends who warned him about Dee Dee because he was just like, I can't, like, no, just stop.
Like, I just want to do this.
Let me do what I want to do. Now, running around and trying to collect debts was only one step in Dee Dee's master plan. She next had Abraham liquidate an annuity account that had about $250,000 in it. And she told him that she needed that cash to pay his taxes. But strangely enough, that $250,000 ended up in her American Medical Professionals account and was used for quote-unquote payroll. Like, was written off as used for payroll.
Okay.
So she didn't pay his taxes
No.
with it.
I'm shocked.
Crazy. Next, she was somehow able to convince Abraham to sign over all of his assets to her.
I knew you were going to say that.
Now, I'm assuming that she most likely lied to him about what he was signing.
Oh, she had to have.
And honestly, like, if somebody handed me a piece of paper like that, I'd be like, I need to have, like, somebody else look at this. Like,
Yeah.
I don't even know what this
But
says.
he doesn't.
But he's over it at
And
this
he's
point.
not thinking that way because
Right.
he doesn't have any
experience with that.
this.
Right.
And when you don't have experience with that stuff, when you're being handed like, you know, pieces of paper and contracts and
yeah.
financial agreements and all that, it's like, that's scary.
And you're like, oh,
you
just
do
get it
need,
out of
like,
my face.
I just want it to go away.
So I'm sure she lied to him about what he was signing. And in just a matter of days, between January 9th to January 15th, Abraham had signed over multiple cars, multiple houses, multiple different accounts. The $3 million he had in assets was sold to Dee Dee for about $840,000.
Wow.
So not an even trade.
Wow. No.
She had said that she bought his house from him, but there was no record of the actual like purchase. And she said the house was about like $1.1 million when he bought it, and there was actually this whole big thing where it was worth far less than what he had bought it for. Like, it was a really big deal.
Oh, man.
And he ended up having to make up the difference because that will happen.
Oh, what a shit show.
And then she bought the house for like, or she quote unquote bought the house for
Yeah.
way less than it was worth, Dee Dee.
Great.
But they were like, I don't even think she bought it.
Yeah.
And she wasn't even done yet. She told Abraham that the two of them should set up an investment fund together.
Yeah.
And that she would put a good portion of his money in there to keep it safe and leave it untouched, and it would grow over time.
Oh, yeah. She's just trying to keep things safe.
Yeah, absolutely. Together, in February of 2009, they set up Abraham Shakespeare LLC, where Dee Dee was listed as an owner and Abraham was listed as an authorized signer. Now, when you set up an LLC, if you're unfamiliar with what that is, it's a limited liability company, and it's a quote-unquote business structure in the U.S. that protects its owners from personal responsibility for its debts or liabilities. So they're hybrid entities that combine the characteristics of a corporation with those of a partnership or a sole proprietorship. And that is according to Investopedia.com.
Sweet.
But when you sign an LLC, there can be two owners on
Yeah.
it. There was no reason for, if this was their LLC together, for them both not to be listed as
Yeah, they could just be
co-owners.
Yeah.
Like, why was he listed as just an authorized signer? That's basically just an
Doesn't
employee.
make sense.
So Abraham signed off and the LLC was official. But just 2 weeks after the LLC became official, Dee Dee took Abraham off of it as an authorized signer, which she had the power to do as the owner of the LLC. And she claimed that it was because of, quote, criminal activity on his part that may lead to charges. And then she started funneling the money that
You know that feeling when you come home late from work and those puppy dog eyes just pierce right through your soul? Or when you're packing for a trip and your cat refuses to leave your suitcase? Yeah, we've all been there. Pet parent guilt is real. And you know what? It's completely normal. That's exactly why Hill's Pet Nutrition exists. They understand that being a pet parent means being human, with all of our imperfections and daily juggling acts. Hill's science-led nutrition helps you give more love than humanly possible. Whether it's those long work days or trying to balance attention between multiple pets, Hill's Pet Nutrition gets it. They've created science-based nutrition that supports your pet's lifelong health, so you can feel confident even when life gets hectic. Because you're only human, there's Hill's. Science does more. Ready to let go of the guilt? Find the right food at hillspet.com/podcast. That's hillspet.com/podcast.
One sunny day, a honeybee was merrily buzzing through an orchard when she stopped to collect nectar from a mystery apple blossom. She passed that pollen along to a Honeycrisp tree, and months later, the sugar bee apple was born. Naturally sweet, with layered notes of caramel, honey, molasses, and the perfect crunch. The world has embraced the sugar bee apple, a pure delight for snacking and baking. Download our new free recipe book and find a store near you at hellosugarbee.com. Sugar bee apples, from bee to you.
had been in Abraham's accounts to her own business, American Medical Professionals, and then just closed that LLC.
Oh my gosh.
So got rid of it entirely.
She's like beyond.
I've never
The
even...
cold callousness with which she is just fucking with people in their lives is really insane.
Like, I've never seen anything like this. Like, I've seen like very different things, but I have never seen this specific kind of person.
Wow. Such commitment to this too.
Yeah, such commitment. She was living in his house before she even bought it with him. She convinced him to let her live in his house.
Man.
And then she never bought it from him. She just claimed that she did.
No, of course.
So when she had all of his money, she was living in his mansion. She was driving around a couple of new cars herself, including a Hummer, a Corvette, and a new truck. Around that time where she was doing all these things, people stopped hearing so much from Abraham. His mom hadn't seen him in weeks.
Oh, no.
And she usually saw him pretty often. And the only semblance of correspondence that anybody would have with him, and especially the only semblance of correspondence that his mom had with him, was when his cousin Cedric stopped by with a card that was signed by Abraham. Inside the card was $100 in cash and a cross. But when Elizabeth asked Cedric who gave him this card to give her, he wouldn't tell her. He didn't say Abraham gave this to me to give you. He said, this is a card from Abraham. Somebody told me to give it to you. But he wouldn't say who had told him to bring it.
That should throw up some red flags.
And it did.
To me.
And it did.
I was going to say, I hope that people are like, ding, ding, ding.
And the red flags build and build and build over time.
Yeah.
Because Abraham also stopped coming by to see his children. Because by this point, he didn't only have a son, Moses, but he also had a child with his girlfriend, Centauria Brown, just months prior. This was a newborn.
Oh my God.
And he was seeing his son all the time. Him and Centauria kind of had a similar relationship to the one that Abraham had with his other child's mother. They were pretty off again, on again, but no matter what, he stopped by to see that baby
he was a present
constantly.
Dad.
Absolutely. Now, his cousin Cedric also hadn't heard a peep from him, and neither had close friends like Poppy from the food store.
Oh, I'm worried.
Or Greg from the barbershop. But don't worry.
I'm worried. I know how it ends, and I'm worried.
Don't worry, because someone is hearing from him. Dee Dee's hearing from him.
Oh, good. We should trust
gone.
that.
He's not gone.
Everything's fine, because Dee Dee will tell you.
Yeah, Dee Dee's going to tell you all you need to know. She would tell anybody who asked for Abraham that, he just needed to get away for a bit from everything because he was tired of people coming around asking for money. And then people were like, okay, where is he at? And she was like, oh, I think he's in Jamaica. I think he went to Bermuda.
Yeah.
I'm not sure, but he needed to go on vacation.
I don't know, he's just around.
And for a while that worked because people knew that he had to change his phone number, that he liked to go on vacation. So maybe he just needed to clear his head for a little bit. But then more months roll by. And she says, Abraham actually skipped town because he owed a lot in child support and he was worried about going to prison again. So she starts painting him in this really shitty light.
Because now it's okay, but he wouldn't leave his kids.
Exactly.
It's very clear to anybody.
Yeah. She also got to the point where she started telling people that he had AIDS and was away taking care of it and was so embarrassed to be around people that that's why he had run away. Oh, and it gets worse. She then said that he, actually had raped an underage girl he was leaving town. So she's making up. In the beginning, she's like, he's on vacation. So we go from he's on vacation to, he actually raped somebody. An underage girl. Just tarnishing his reputation throughout this town. Now, the stories were not adding up to these people, but about 8 months passed before anybody did anything about it. Abraham's cousin, Cedric, after 8 months of this bullshit, had enough. So on November 9th, 2009, it's really weird. November is a constant in this story.
It really is.
I actually just thought of that. But on November 9th, 2009, Cedric called the police to file a missing persons report. And at first, the police felt like Cedric was being pretty helpful. But the more and more questions they asked him and starting to dig a little deeper, he was clearly getting uncomfortable. He was getting agitated. And finally, he just got to the point where he was like, I can't help you anymore. Abraham's missing. That's all I know. Not telling you anything else.
Wow.
So they're like...
That's not shady at all.
So they found his behavior shady at
Yeah,
first, is what I was
they?
going to say. But then, they're doing this investigation, obviously, now, because they're like, okay, clearly this man is missing.
Something is going on here.
And they're starting to talk to people in town, and they start hearing this name. Dee Dee, the white lady.
Yeah,
the white lady came
who started
around.
the fire.
And she's still looking for Abraham's money, even though he's missing.
Of course she is.
So they're like, okay. And they find out that she's heavily involved in Abraham's finances. And they said, she was really involved in his life and interpersonal relationships.
Yeah.
And they said right around the time he disappeared is when things started really taking off. Now, then they were able to find out that the reason why Cedric was being so hot and cold with them was because Dee Dee had the title to his car and was named on his home loan. He was making mortgage payments to her.
Holy shit.
And she had the title of his car. So if he pissed her off, he was homeless and carless.
How is she doing this?
I have
This is
no
outrageous.
idea. I think it was because originally it was in Abraham's name and she must have had Abraham
Yeah.
sign something and then
Wow.
it became in her name. And then
That's
she's
really
collecting
wild, though.
all these debts. And Cedric's mother lived in his house. Like he had a home for
so
his
he
mother.
had like
So it wasn't just
actual
him.
collateral damage that would have happened here.
Right. So he was worried that if he went against her, he's just going to lose everything.
Damn.
So now it was time for investigators to talk to this Dee Dee lady.
Yeah.
And tracking her down wouldn't be too hard because she was still living in
I
Abraham's
was just
house.
gonna say she's in his house, so
Yep. That he sold to her, even though there's no transaction, no record of transaction.
awesome.
So the police get there and they're like, hey, where's Abraham? And she tells the police that what she told everybody in the beginning. She says he's tired of getting asked for money all the time. And I think he's just, on vacation right now, getting some time to himself.
I just live in his house. I
Well,
don't
and
know.
she said, actually, I've spoken with him a few times via text message. Remember I said earlier, he doesn't
text.
communicate through text message.
No.
And she said, I'm going to shoot him another text, but just so you know, it does usually take him like a day or two to get back to me. I think maybe the time difference is. So I'll let you know when he gets back to me. Like, I will come to you as soon as he answers. And then they were like, okay, but before we go, we'd like to talk to you about like all these different kind of like financial things. And she was like, well, listen, I was just helping him out. And here I have like this to show you that this is all official. And she shows them an asset purchase agreement that Abraham had signed off on. His signature was right there. And it showed that he had sold those $3 million in assets to her.
Damn.
It looked legal. But it was strange. They were like, why would he do that?
Yeah,
And then
like,
just
it doesn't
skip
make
town.
sense.
It makes no sense. So she's like, listen, you know what? Don't even bother coming back here. I'm going to come to you to make it easier.
Don't come back.
Yeah, don't come back. I'm going to make this easier for you. And I'm going to come right down to the station as soon as he answers me. Just give me a few days.
Give me a few days to come up with what I'm going to do.
Yeah. And they're like, okay.
They're like, cool.
Sounds
We'll
good.
give you a few days to come up with what
Our
you're
people
gonna do.
will call your people.
Yeah, definitely.
So in a couple days, they check back. And Dee Dee still hasn't heard from Abraham. But she said, I thought he was just being a stubborn brat.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, surely he'll get back to me soon. But then a few days after checking in, the police get a strange call from Abraham's most recent girlfriend. I believe when he, quote unquote, disappeared, that he was, they were off again. Like they weren't necessarily together, but again, they have this child together.
Yeah.
So they get a call from Centauria Brown. And she tells them that she just got a call from Dee Dee and that Dee Dee told her, I need you to do something for me. If you tell the police that you've seen Abraham recently, there's a $200,000 house in it for you and your baby.
Good for Centauria Brown for calling the police.
A stand-up gal.
What a fucking rock star for just like, not that I'm saying like, good for her for not taking that money and just like saying that he was, but a lot of people would.
Absolutely.
And it's like, so I'm
like,
really glad that she was like,
yeah,
fuck you.
Sometimes you have to give people claps for things that
honestly
don't necessarily
should be
deserve claps, but
second nature.
But it
like,
does.
But good for her because she had a brand new baby.
Yeah.
I'm sure it flashed through her mind that
You're
that's a
a
lot of
mama.
money that can help. So it's like, good for her.
So
I'm glad he had people who actually gave a shit about him.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know?
I think that just goes to show what kind of person he was.
Yeah, that his, like the women he had children with were ready to back him still.
Yeah. So all Centauria would have to do, said Dee Dee, was call the police and say that Abraham came by in the middle of the night recently and that you were talking to each other through the window, but you got in this fight. And then by the time you went outside to go talk to him, he was gone, vanished.
The fact that she called this woman and said for her to do this is wild to me.
Yeah, Centauria is like, oh my gosh, Dee Dee, like for sure.
Absolutely, I'll do that.
Of course, girlfriend.
That is not strange and unusual at all.
And then she said, hello, 911, I'd like to report an emergency.
Wow.
So Dee Dee was very evidently up to no good. And then the police start to look at her past rap sheet full of insurance fraud and like possible arson.
Oh, they started to look at that now. That's nice.
Yeah. And we're still in the beginning. So, they're working.
Yeah.
They're doing it. But yeah, so it made them feel worse though when they checked some cell phone records to see if they could locate a tower that Abraham's phone was hitting off of when he was supposedly sending all of these text messages. Now, they were able to check Dee Dee's phone records as well. Now, up until April 6, 2009, there were hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of outgoing and incoming phone calls to Abraham's phone because he strictly communicates
Through
via phone
calls.
call.
Yeah.
Now, his last girlfriend, Centauria, said he wasn't a texter. Anytime he got a text, I had to read it to him, and then I would like help him come up with the response, or he would just call the person back. He's not a texter. So why on April 6th did he just go from hundreds and hundreds of phone calls to only communicating via text message on April 6th?
That's how.
Well, yeah, because in looking at the phone records, they were able to determine that every time Abraham's cell phone hit a tower when it sent a text message, Dee Dee's phone hit the same tower.
What a coincidence.
They
It's
were
like
hitting
that fire.
the same tower, traveling in the same directions at the same speed. And they were like, the phones literally had to have been sitting right next to each other while these messages are being sent.
Yeah.
Dee Dee Moore was texting herself and texting other people posing as Abraham to make it seem like he was still alive and well.
That's shocking.
Why was she trying to make it seem like he was still alive if he was only just on vacation?
Why?
So around this time, the police put a tracking device on Dee Dee Moore's car.
Hell yeah, they did.
They're keeping tabs on her. So as all the investigators are piecing all of this strange-ass information together, the weird and suspicious behavior only continues. In the beginning of December, Abraham's mother Elizabeth got a letter that was supposed to have been written by Abraham, but it was lengthy and it was detailed, and she was like, there's literally no way he wrote this.
I was gonna say, how are we failing to is she really just trying to play this off like that?
Oh yeah, and not only that, like, I've seen some of these letters, and she's using words that she thought Abraham would have used, but she's using the N-word.
Oh my God.
Writing it down. And, just saying horrific things. She's admitting to, these things that he supposedly is doing, but, clearly would never have done.
Wow, she's an evil son of a bitch.
She's fucked. So then Christmas came and went without hearing a word from Abraham. So he definitely would have seen his mom on Christmas.
Of course.
So she's heartbroken, and she's like, where is my son?
And his children.
Absolutely.
Seen his children on Christmas.
Absolutely. So 2 days after Christmas, Dee Dee stops by Elizabeth's house. This is Abraham's mother. And she's like, let's go out for a bite to eat.
Oh my God, how dare her?
How dare she? Yeah, thank you. Ugh. She's like, let's go out for a bite to eat. I know that you're feeling down, and I want you to feel better. Ooh. So Elizabeth agrees. And while the two of them are eating together, someone calls Elizabeth. The caller claimed to be Abraham. But Elizabeth knew better because a mother knows her child's voice.
Of course.
And she was certain this was not her son on the other line, and actually said that to whoever this caller was.
And how convenient that she's sitting with Dee Dee. And that Dee Dee suddenly decided to take her out
crazy.
Yeah, so convenient.
Crazy.
What a convenient alibi.
Yeah. So the call is immediately reported to the police. Elizabeth is like, that's not my fucking son. I don't know who that was. Now, the police are able to track the location of the call to a local mall. They start making their way to the mall, and wouldn't you know it, as they're pulling into the mall, getting ready to figure out exactly where this phone is and track down the caller, Dee Dee Moore's big ass Hummer pulls into the same mall parking lot and up to another driver. So they're like, well, we're just gonna hang back here and watch what the fuck goes down.
Front row seats to this show.
She gets out of her car and into this other car and seems to hand the driver a wad of what looks like cash. Now, the detectives watch this whole interaction go down, and they wait for Dee Dee's Hummer to pull back out of the mall, and then they approach the driver of the car where she was just
Oh my God, this is amazing.
It's not even real, but it is. So they approach this man, and they're like, hey, who the fuck are you?
What's going on?
And this guy says, my name's Greg Smith.
Hi, Greg Smith.
Do you know Greg Smith?
Greg Smith.
The barber.
Oh, Greg Smith.
Abraham's friend. Yeah. Greg Smith says,
stop.
Dee Dee had paid him to make the call to Elizabeth.
Stop it.
And that she was going to pay him to make further calls. The wad of cash that she had just handed him was $5,000 to call Elizabeth and pretend to be Abraham and explain why he had missed Christmas.
To call Abraham's mother and pretend to be her missing son, who you claim to be your friend.
Mm-hmm.
Holy shit.
Yup.
Wow. Yeah. I just can't.
Yep.
That's, wow.
So it was then that the police had their in.
The worst species.
They say to Greg, well, you're friends with Abraham, aren't you? And he's like, yeah, that's my brother.
No.
And they say, okay, if that's your brother, then you want to wear a wire and help us catch this lady? And Greg agrees. So he's going to continue meeting with Dee Dee. He's going to completely turn on her and wear a wire now every single time going forward.
Holy shit.
Because this was not the only time, and we'll get a little further into it toward the end. This was not the only thing that he had done with her.
Oh, damn.
So the next time Greg meets up with Dee Dee, he's wired up. He actually put the wire in an empty sports can drink and just held onto it while he talked to her, which would stress me out because, like, what if it clanks?
I know, right? What if it clanks?
What if it clanks? He was able to ask a little bit more about Abraham, and Dee Dee explained to him, these cops are trying to pin this on me. They think that Abraham is dead, and, you know, now I'm not hearing back from him anymore, and, you know, here's where he could be. He could be doing this and this and yada, yada, yada. But you know what? I have to come clean about something. Abraham Shakespeare is dead, but I didn't do it. That's what she says.
The fact that she just fucking was like, you know what? Let me just admit this while you have a wire on. Like,
He's
not
dead.
that she knows, but it's just like the
She has
one
no
time
idea.
he has a wire on, she's like, you know what?
He's dead.
Full confession.
Full blown.
Wow.
But not full confession, because according to her, it was a drug dealer named Ronald that had committed this murder. She said Abraham was working with this drug dealer, Ronald. There was this elaborate drug ring that he was involved in. They were moving about 40 kilos of cocaine. And something had gone down between Abraham and this guy, Ronald, and Abraham had ended up dead. But according to Dee Dee, she was trying to make it seem like Abraham was still alive because this Ronald guy had been threatening her. He was going to hurt her.
So many people threaten her.
I know, everybody's just always threatening Dee Dee.
She's always so threatened.
bad. Now, the whole story sounded weird as fuck to Greg, because anybody who knew Abraham knew that not only was he not involved in drugs whatsoever, he barely touched alcohol. He was not even a drinker. So then Dee Dee said something that he was just not ready for. He was like, well, like taken aback. Does he know anybody who would confess to a murder so that she wouldn't have to spend time in prison for a crime that she just simply didn't commit? Do you know anybody who would take the rap for this, Greg?
The boldness of this woman,
This
this snake, is outrageous. The fact that she is just calling people being like, hey, will you just like say you talked to this guy who's been missing forever? And like, hey, will you just call his mother and pretend to be him? Like, she's so fucking bold. And then she's like, hey, do you know anyone that would like say that they murdered someone so I don't have to?
Well, and so here's the thing.
What?
Why do you think that Greg knows somebody who would take the rap for murder, but you don't?
That's the thing. I'm like, if anybody knows someone, you do.
You
or
probably
you could just
do.
make someone.
But I'm like, she was racist as fuck. Like, that's literally racist.
100%.
Like, you're being like, oh, do you know anybody, Greg?
Do you know
who would
anybody
take the rap for murder? Like, go fuck
who people
yourself,
would
Dee Dee.
believe murdered
Exactly.
him? That's what it is.
Thank you. It pissed me off a lot.
That's wow.
So Greg was like, you know, I have to think about it because nobody's name comes to mind now.
I'm going to have to think about it.
But I'm going to get back to you because I'm sure I can come up with somebody because, you know, I'm Greg, so I must know somebody that could fucking take the rap for a murder they didn't commit. So after that meeting, that he goes back to the detectives and they're like, wow, she sucks. She
Wow,
clearly
she's the
murdered
worst.
him, but like, let's fucking play the long game. If Dee Dee's going to play the long game, so are we.
Yeah.
So they come up with a plan. They're going to send an undercover officer the next time that Greg and Dee Dee meet up. And the undercover officer is going to pretend like he's Greg's cousin. And he's going to tell Dee Dee, you know what? I'll take the rap for you, but I need a little more detail about this first. Because if they're going to ask me questions about this murder I did it, I need to know.
This is amazing.
It's fucking great. It's also absolutely horrible that this had to happen.
But it's amazing how they were able to like
how they
set
did
this
it.
up.
So on January 21st, the three of these people have their meeting. Greg and Detective Mike Smith get into Dee Dee's car, and Greg says, oh, this is Mike. This is my cousin. And Mike tells Dee Dee, hey, like, yeah, I'm going to prison soon on drug charges. I got, like, a pretty lengthy sentence, so I'll take the rap for this. Like, it'll give me, like, prison cred or something like that.
Yeah.
And, you know, like, I'm already going to be there for a while, so cool. But I'm not doing this for free. I need $50,000.
Yeah.
And she's like, okay.
Yeah.
I'll give you $50,000 of Abraham's money to say that you killed him. Sounds good.
Cool.
And he says, okay, I also need to know where the body is. Do you know where the body is? Because how am I going to say I killed somebody and then not tell them where
There's
the body,
no body
is?
Yeah.
And he said, and I need to know exactly how he was killed because they're going to ask me. And I need my story to match up with the manner of death. so that this can be like a cut and dry case. Because, like, you know, we heard last week with Alaina's story, without a body can be pretty hard.
It can
and,
be
like,
tough.
appeals and blah, 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 blah.
It can be tough.
So, unreal. If Dee Dee knew where Abraham was buried, it was pretty obvious how involved in this murder she had been. So this is why they're trying to say this. So she told them, I actually know exactly where Abraham is buried.
Wow.
He is buried under a concrete slab in the backyard of a house owned by my boyfriend, Shar.
Oh.
If you didn't kill him, why is he buried in your backyard?
Holy shit.
So they say, okay, we're going to have to come by in the coming days and move that body, because if the police think that you're involved and then he's found in your backyard, it's going to fuck this whole thing up. We have to move him.
Like, he's in your backyard.
You fucking idiot.
Girlfriend.
You fucking
what?
Idiot. Like, I'm happy that you're an
horrifying
idiot.
piece of shit.
So they're like, listen, we got to come back up so that you're not linked to this at all. And she said, oh, you know what, guys, thank you so much. I think she also told the officer that he was going to be a legend and that he might end up on the Oprah show. Because, you know, Oprah just has murderers on her show all the time.
She loves that.
Yeah, that's totally Oprah's fucking thing.
Yeah, that's a Wednesday show.
Probably not.
For sure.
So they make plans to meet a day or a couple days later. A day or so later, Greg meets up with Dee Dee again. And this time she hands him a .38 Smith & Wesson, and she says, this is the gun that they used to kill Abraham. And he's like, why do you have the gun that they used to kill Abraham? And she said, well, it is my gun. But Ronald took it from the safe while he and Abraham were arguing inside of the home office. And that Ronald used it to shoot Abraham. And then she led Greg out to the backyard of her boyfriend's home to a concrete slab that had been like pretty freshly poured. And she pointed to some metal tool laying on the slab and said, she said, your boy is under there about 5 feet down. She literally said that.
That sounds like someone who had nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Very far removed.
Totally. There was also a trailer parked in front of the slab to hide the area from the street. And then Dee Dee said that she was going to hitch the trailer to a truck that night so they could drive the body away. And then she was like, let me show you. I got like a bunch of stuff for you guys, like party favors, gotta help you out.
Yeah, definitely.
She took Greg inside of the trailer and showed him all of the supplies that she had gathered for them. There was plastic sheeting, duct tape, multiple bottles of Clorox bleach, a Lysol kit, plastic gloves, and a metal tub where she said you can put Abraham's body in there while you drive his body to the new location. You can put him in that metal tub over there.
For someone who didn't murder this man, you know an awful lot about transporting a murdered body, and you know an awful lot about the murder, and you seem very comfortable with a murdered body of a friend of yours.
I'm nodding so hard right now
that
I think my head is going to just like flip off and like go out that skylight right there.
Wow.
So later on in the investigation, just to give you a piece of like information about how fucking horrible this woman is, if I already hadn't made that point clear, the detectives were able to get surveillance of Dee Dee buying all of these items at Walmart.
Of course.
Because Walmart has surveillance, you fucking idiot.
They sure do.
Thank God. And they also got the receipt, and it showed that she bought all of these items, and this is what I found when I like found the court documents, and I was really excited to find this, but also horrified. She bought all of these items and also bought a fucking Frappuccino drink from Starbucks.
Wow.
Like, you know those little, like, ones that you can get, like, at the grocery store? She bought all of these, like, every item in the world you could possibly get to dispose of a body. And then while she was at it, she said, you know what? Let me have, like, a little afternoon treat and get a Frappuccino along with all of this. This woman is repugnant.
Repugnant is a perfect word for her.
Are you kidding me?
That's
a fucking Frappuccino.
I can't even. I literally can't even.
I hate it. So just one day later, investigators were able to start digging at that site because hello, wires.
Because hi.
And after about 48 hours spent excavating the area, they found 43-year-old Abraham Shakespeare lying on his side about 5 feet below the concrete slab.
That's awful.
He'd been shot twice in the chest, and later he was positively ID'd through fingerprints. All of the metal parts of the clothes that he was wearing, like the buttons on his jacket, the zipper on his jeans, any buttons on his pants, and a belt buckle that he had been wearing, any metal, had been cut off.
My God.
So that anybody metal detecting in the area wouldn't have found him.
Wow.
Wonder why. Wonder why somebody would go to such great lengths to do something like that.
That is a lot of lengths to go to.
Now, you might be thinking, Alaina, that I'm going to tell you that this is the point in time where Dee Dee gets arrested. And don't worry, yes, we are getting to that point.
One sunny day, a honeybee was merrily buzzing through an orchard when she stopped to collect nectar from a mystery apple blossom. She passed that pollen along to a honeycrisp tree, and months later, the sugar bee apple was born. Naturally sweet, with layered notes of caramel, honey, molasses, and the perfect crunch. The world has embraced the sugar bee apple, a pure delight for snacking and baking. Download our new free recipe book and find a store near you at hellosugarbee.com. Sugar bee apples, from bee to you.
I like things my way. My coffee, my schedule, and my treatment. So I talked to my doctor about self-injecting with the Vyvgart Hytrulo prefilled syringe, which contains Efgartigimod alpha and hyaluronidase QVFC. It's injected under your skin, subcutaneously. It means I can inject in my space, on my time. It's my treatment, my way. Visit VyvgartMyWay.com. That's VYVGART myway.com. And talk to your doctor about Vyvgart Hytrulo. Brought to you by Argenix.
But before I get there, I have to tell you that the day Abraham's body was found buried in the backyard of her boyfriend's house, Dee Dee drove herself to the police station and told them she was finally ready to come clean.
Oh, I'm so glad that you have a heart.
But it wasn't her fault, Alaina.
No,
she
it wasn't.
did not do this.
No, she didn't.
She said, I've been scared this whole time, but now that you have his body, I have to tell you the truth.
Dee Dee's not scared of shit.
No, she's not.
She's not scared of anything.
She's also, if you watch like anything where she's interviewed, she's the most terrifying human being on the
she's
face
not
of the
scared of
planet.
shit.
Because she comes off like a lady that you would meet at Sears that would help you find a dress for an upcoming occasion, and you'd be like, wow, that lady was so nice.
Wow.
But really, she murdered somebody and buried them in her boyfriend's backyard.
Wow.
Like the way she comes off, you're like, what?
Oh, that's how she manipulates
haunting.
people. Those people can just turn it on.
She's incredibly manipulating. So she's ready to come clean. She tells them that the night Abraham died, he and 3 men had come into her office located inside of the house that Abraham once owned and still lived in. But at this point, Dee Dee had already taken ownership. And they walk in and they say that they're going to rob her. Now, the man she knew as Ronald went into her safe. He must have just known the password.
Yeah, he just went in there.
And took out the .38 Smith & Wesson. But as they were going to rob Dee Dee, Abraham and Ronald got into a fight, and Ronald just took the gun and shot Abraham twice in the chest. And she explained the story through tears, while the investigators just blankly stare at her and say, we know that you're lying. Like, we know that's not the truth. And she starts sobbing at this point. And I can't believe you're not going to help me. I'm telling you the truth and you're not doing anything to help me. And I'm scared for my life. And she gets so serious for one point in this interview. And she goes, I was so scared. They put the gun in my mouth and I peed my pants. And then she repeated, I peed my pants.
She's like, I have to be clear about this.
She's going this far.
I was scared.
The detectives were not impressed. And they were like, why would they keep you alive if you just witnessed them murder somebody right in front of you? Like, what good are you to have around? And she was like, well, I could continue to pay them. And they're like, well, they're moving 40 kilos of cocaine, so why the fuck do they need your money? And she's like, clearly this story's not working. So she goes,
none of this makes sense.
Okay, that's not the truth.
No, it's not, Dee Dee.
It was my son.
Oh my God.
It was my son, RJ. My 14-year-old son, RJ. He shot Abraham.
What?
He walked into the office and he saw that Abraham was assaulting me. So he's a good boy and he was doing the right thing and he was protecting me. And he shot Abraham because Abraham was assaulting me. Again, the investigators were like,
speechless.
We know that your son did not do this, Dee Dee. You did. And she's like, I cannot believe that you are treating me this way. And she just gets up and storms out of the police station, which at that point, that day at least, she could do that. Because literally as those doors closed behind her, they started writing up an arrest warrant.
Of course they did.
Now, before getting to the arrest, though, they had one more person that they wanted to talk to. Dee Dee's ex-husband, James Moore. He came down to the station to talk and said that around the beginning of April, which, as you remember, the last the last phone calls of Abraham's phone end on April 6th.
Yes.
So sometime around the beginning of April, Dee Dee had called her ex-husband and she said, I need you to dig a hole out on my boyfriend's property so that we can bury some trash and cement in it. Now, I don't know if that's like a thing that people do. She had recently purchased a backhoe for the job, and James had said that he had done this before for her.
Okay.
So I don't know if that's like a thing that people do.
I have no idea.
But she had recently purchased a new backhoe for this specific job. So he said he did this for Dee Dee. He came over, he dug the hole for her, and then he left. And he was like, I thought she was just going to put some trash in it and some cement.
That's what she told me.
But then she called him about 2 hours later and said, you know what? Fuck, I need you to come back and fill in this hole because we have an inspector coming the next day. And if they see this hole, like, it's going to fuck things up. So he said when he got back to the house, it was dark by that point. And he said Dee Dee looked really tired, like she had just gotten done doing something strenuous. And that she was also slightly dirty and like sweating.
Okay.
And he was like, I don't know, maybe she was like, they had a lot of trash to put in this hole and she was like really going after it.
He's like, wow, you really have a lot of trash.
But he also was like, you're my ex-wife and like, I honestly don't even want to know what the fuck you're doing. Like, I'm just going to fill in this hole for you because I think that it's just trash.
You're shady as fuck. I don't know what's going on.
Personally, I wouldn't want to do anything for Dee Dee, especially not dig a hole and then fill it in 2 hours later. But, you know, hindsight's 20/20.
But it truly is.
So he just went out back and he said he filled in this hole that he had just dug hours before. And he said he didn't see anything inside the hole except maybe like a little bit of cement, which there was cement over it. Like she covered his body with cement.
Holy shit.
But it was so dark outside that James said he really didn't know what he was looking at.
Well, and I don't think you're immediately going to be like, she probably put a body in there that she just
like you know that she's done like insurance schemes and stuff like that, but I don't think you would think of her as a murderer. Yeah, she's the mother of your child.
I don't think a lot of people think that their person that they were once married to is capable of murdering someone.
Yeah, exactly. So he was like, out, bye.
Bye.
And then, so the police were like, that's very helpful information. Thank you. You're free to go. Now, days later, on February 2nd, Dee Dee Moore was arrested and eventually charged with first-degree murder. Her arrest was like somewhat theatrical because literally right before she got arrested, like moments before she got arrested, she was doing an interview with reporters like right outside of the gated community that she lived in because of Abraham. And she was sobbing and saying that she was a good person who would never kill someone and the truth was going to come out, yada, 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 yada.
What?
And literally less than a mile away, the police were waiting to arrest her murderous ass.
Wow.
So on November 28th, 2012, the case goes to trial. Now, the prosecution had a lot on their side, specifically Greg, who wore a wire.
Yeah.
And also the undercover officer, Mike Young. But while he was on trial, Greg went into detail about all the things that he had been a part of while being paid by Dee Dee to make it seem like Abraham was still alive. He testified, this is bananas. Bananas. He testified that at one point in time, he and Dee Dee had gone to a comfort inn where she typed up a letter to give to Abraham's mother, Elizabeth, pretending to be Abraham, another letter.
Oh my God.
And Greg said she had plastic-type gloves on, like picture like cleaning gloves, and that she wrapped her hair up in some kind of scarf thing for extra protection, not wanting to like leave any evidence, I guess.
Oh my God.
And that she had even purchased a new laptop to write this letter on.
She really went all out.
Yep. And the police were able to confirm this because at that point, they already had the tracker on Dee Dee's car and they saw that she was headed to the house and they were trailing behind her and they actually intercepted this letter before Elizabeth ever got it.
Good.
Which I'm thankful for because she already had to read way too many things that were not even from her son.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Unreal. Greg also testified that Dee Dee had made him go into a store at one point and buy multiple cell phones and that she wanted him to put one in somebody in Robert's name. Like put one of these phone in a Robert's name.
In this fictional person's name.
Yes. So that she could call herself with the phone and the call would be tracked to somebody named Robert. Clearly she didn't know about how cell phone towers work.
Holy shit. So she's just sitting around like fully scheming every last bit of this.
Yes.
Holy shit.
I think she literally was like addicted to, like she was having fun with this.
Oh, she liked this.
She was getting so much enjoyment out of this.
There's no reason to go through this much trouble.
No.
There's no reason.
At all.
This is insanity.
It's crazy.
Yeah, this is somebody who enjoys this.
The search warrant that they got for one of the houses, there was 2 houses that she got when she stole everything from Abraham. One of the search warrants for one of the houses was like crazy amount of pages long. 8 pages of the search warrant was just jewelry that they had taken.
Holy shit.
8 pages of the search warrant was just jewelry and like Coach bags.
Oh my God.
That she had just bought with this man's money who she had murdered.
Who she had murdered and buried in her boyfriend's backyard.
Unreal. So Greg finishes up his testimony, and then the prosecution calls a financial advisor on the stand, like this like really like well-known financial advisor, I guess. And he went through all of Abraham's accounts and was able to confirm that every last penny had been given to, quote unquote, given to Dee Dee or deposited into her American Medical Professionals account.
Wow.
Then they called a previous personal assistant to Abraham who testified that in the days leading up to Abraham's disappearance, he was starting to catch on to what Dee Dee had been doing.
Oh, that's
and
awful.
that he had plans to confront her. And this personal assistant told Dee Dee. Like,
Are you
he
kidding
knows
me?
what's going on. Not thinking, obviously, that she's going to kill him.
But come
tipped
on,
her
man.
off. Right. Like this, you were a personal assistant to him. You don't owe Dee Dee shit.
Oh, that's shit.
Mm-hmm.
That is a shitty person.
Yeah,
I don't
fucked.
give a shit if you didn't think something like this
Fucked.
would happen. That's really fucked.
Fucked.
Because she's very clearly a dangerous person.
If
And
she's
she's very
capable-
clearly a shady person.
Right.
And if that's between them.
If she's capable of taking like total basically $4 to $5 million away from somebody and like swindling them into signing shit and just like all the crazy lengths she went to, and you were like, you're gonna tip her off, like,
And
come
he
on.
knows money makes people fucking crazy. And it's like,
Exactly.
this woman is clearly only run by that
She's
and doesn't give a
unhinged.
shit about anyone. That's fucked up.
It is. So the prosecution, put all of the testimony together, and they came to the conclusion that Abraham probably was catching on to what Dee Dee had been doing, and the day he was killed was the day he most likely went to confront her.
Oh.
And she felt like she had no other option but to get rid of him, and it must have gone down in that home office because they were able to find blood evidence in there. But they couldn't find like a full sample because sections of the carpet in the home office, had been cut out.
Holy shit.
So she even went to that length. She was delusional enough to think that she would get away with murder, probably because her past had shown her that she'd gotten away with screwing
she
people
got away
over
with everything.
and lying for years and years.
Wow.
But they were able to piece that whole story together based on, and honestly, like for me, I'm like, yeah, that's, I would be pretty confident in saying that's most likely what happened.
100%.
And the defense didn't really have a lot.
Yeah, what do you have?
To defend Dee Dee. So they went with the story about the guy named Ronald. They said the reason she went to all these great lengths was to make it seem, the reason she went to all the great lengths to make it seem like Abraham was alive was because she was scared for her own life.
No.
Yeah.
That's no.
The jury felt the same no that we felt.
That's a no.
And on December 10th, they came back with their verdict. Doris D. Donegan Moore was found guilty of first-degree murder. And the judge, Emmett Battles, looked at Dee Dee before sentencing and said, quote, "Miss Moore, after listening to all of this over 2 weeks, words were said here. Cold, calculated, cruel. They all apply. Probably the most manipulative person that this court has ever seen. Abraham Shakespeare was your prey and your victim. Money was the root of evil that you brought to Abraham, and now I'm going to pronounce the sentence." Ooh. And then he dropped his gavel. And he sentenced her to life in prison without the possibility of parole and added on 25 years for the use of a firearm in a violent felony.
Bye, Dee Dee.
She is still serving her sentence at the Low Correctional Facility in Ocala, Florida.
Holy shit.
And to this day, she is maintaining her innocence and says that she's the one who got murdered. I shit you not, this woman literally said, quote, "I believe I was murdered by the hands of the justice. And my life, you fucking narcissist,
wow,
is what they have to live with. Wow. They have to live with murdering me. Ma'am, you are still alive.
What?
No one fired 2 bullets into your chest in an attempt to live a life of luxury.
After stealing all your money.
And you're the one who has blood on their hands.
Wow.
You were murdered. the things I would love to say.
That's outrageous.
And she said that it's all her lawyer's fault that she didn't win the case because she had a witness who was going to testify on her behalf, but that her attorney just never called that witness.
Yeah, totally.
She also completely abandoned the Ronald story and all the other stories that came along the way and said, actually...
Oh, okay, actually.
But wait, there's more. It was Greg who killed Abraham.
Oh, okay.
It was Greg. She said Abraham was having an affair with Greg's wife, so Greg lost his mind and killed Abraham when he found out. Okay. And she also said, I'm a people person. I'm a friendly person. I like good things and happy thoughts and good times. I don't plot to murder people for money. Are you kidding me?
I like rainbows and butterflies and puppies.
Like at one point she literally said, like, I like Disney.
I like good stuff.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Like a lot of shitty people like fun things.
Absolutely they do.
You're one of them.
And also I love how you sat in a car with Greg while he was wired up and literally talked about it like someone else did it.
The delusion.
But now is sitting there and saying that Greg was just like play acting there?
The delusions
you were
run
just play acting together?
So deep
like,
in her
Like you
cranium.
can't explain that. You can't be like, yeah, I sat with him in a car and we talked about it like he didn't do it.
Right.
When I didn't know he was wearing a wire. But like, yeah.
You also can't say that like your 14-year-old son did it when you told everybody that was like some guy named Ronald did it.
And it's like, okay, so
You're
you abandon the Ronald story, but like, what do you have to say about you just pinning it on your 14-year-old son? You don't have anything to say about that?
She was so delusional. During one of her interviews, the man's name was Detective Clark. That was like he was one of the detectives on the case. She tried to say that, she was like, after all of this is over, you and I should rent a motel or a hotel room and have a good time together. Like she thought that that she was like gonna prove somehow that she was innocent, and this detective who was investigating her for like murder was going to have a good time with her in a hotel room while investigating her for murder.
What movie is she living in? It's
nuts.
shitty.
She also was like reprimanded countless times while in the courtroom. She would like nod she would nod and like shake her head and stuff with certain testimonies, and she would make faces at the jury. Like the judge fucking hated her. She also said that her tongue went into anaphylactic shock because of a medicine that she had to take because there were so many cuts and like stuff on her wrists and her ankles that she had to take this medicine, but then the medicine caused her tongue to go into anaphylactic shock. And the judge was like, I literally don't give a shit. Stop.
Oh.
You're on trial for murder. Nobody gives a fook.
What the fuck?
Nobody gives a single flying fook.
What the fuck?
So now, just to end this, because I usually like to end this on like the victim side of things, just, there are representatives of Abraham's estate now, like good representatives, who are trying to track down all of the stolen money to see if they can get anything back for like his fucking children.
Yeah.
And this is crazy. Strangely enough, in 2017, the mother of Abraham's older son, Moses, Antoinette Andrews, won $1 million on a lottery jackpot.
Stop it.
The odds were apparently 1 in 1,140,000.
Holy shit.
And she won $1 million. And she said when she won, she was scared. But that all she wants to do is pay her bills, buy her son a new truck, and get herself and her daughter a home. And that's all
amazing.
she wants.
Good for her.
I'm like, wow.
I hope that's what... Damn.
I'm like, I feel like I'm just like weirdly like spiritual, and I think Abraham is out there somewhere still taking care of his family.
I know.
And
I
I'm
hope
like,
that's
maybe
the case.
he made that happen for you.
That was a little thing there. I like that.
So that is
oh my god,
banana story of the Abraham Shakespeare murder. Dee Dee Moore is one of the most deplorable, repugnant human beings on this planet.
There's not even words for her. Yeah. There truly isn't.
It's unreal.
Rot
in hell.
Yeah, you're terrible. Or wherever.
I hope she has hemorrhoids.
Yeah. I hope she has a hangnail every day.
Yeah. I hope that I hope she wears contacts, and I hope that they're so dry every single day and there's no eye lubricant available.
I also hope that like she always has to sneeze and it gets right to that point and then she loses it. over and over and over again, so her nose gets really stuffed up.
I hope she always has a headache, like, in her temple.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, those are the worst.
Yeah, I hope that.
And I hope
a
that
canker sore.
she, like, falls asleep and gets into a really great, awesome sleep and is having a really great dream, and then she wakes up every single time.
She has a falling thing where she just...
Every time.
Yeah, where your heart is racing. Yeah, I hope that.
And lots of other things.
Yeah, for sure.
Bye,
Wow.
Dee Dee.
Bye.
So yeah, guys, that was wild. I'm actually very, like, happy to have my mind be rid of that because I was full of hatred for Dee Dee Moore for the past couple of weeks. So with that, we hope you keep listening.
And we hope you
keep
it
weird. But not so weird that you befriend a lottery winner not to just simply not be their friend, but to steal all their money and then murder them and then make up lies about the craziest things and then continue to lie for the rest of your life. Definitely don't keep it that weird.
Dee Dee's the worst.
You suck.